I was just confirming with the juta thing, right? So Kohli showed his shoe, so there are two theories to that. One, he was telling Naveen, "मेरे जूते भेज दो." That's part one. And second is, apparently he was accused of running on the pitch and ruining the pitch. So he was showing his shoe, saying, "इसमें sand नहीं है, सिर्फ घास है." So you can't blame me for tampering with the pitch. So there are two theories to that.
Hello all and welcome to a new YouTube video on our channel The Third Man Musings. Well, what an exciting last 2-3 weeks of IPL it's been. It's been high octane stuff. 200 plus targets getting chased, 120 run targets getting defended, fights all through, right? So some high octane stuff. Really interesting so far. And another interesting facet that we have seen is around a couple of weeks back, some teams were riding really high with wins up front, but they seem to now have gone on a losing streak. And teams which are struggling in that middle muddle, so to say, they have suddenly peaked and looking good for the playoffs now. So, Sumit, what are you, most excited, about the weeks to come as we go, near the playoff stage now in the IPL?
So yeah, Sujay, typically in IPL there's a race for the number four slot. By the end, like last week, there's almost net run rates and getting 14 or 16. The good thing over this IPL is there's a muddle from number two to number seven in a way. I think 8, 9, 10 are pretty much done, but they are good to they're providing value in terms of upsets. But it's very rare to see this table where number two to number seven are so closely interlocked with just two points separating and a lot of ties between. I think GT have pushed forward with their brilliant strategy, which we'll discuss
Right.
later. But this middle model is a way big middle now. That's not a small middle model of 4, 5, 6 only. So that's been the exciting thing. This week was billed as the revenge week as per Geo. We could see all the reverse fixtures being played. So I think starting with that spirit, let's discuss the main talking point this week, which has been that epic match. I think just to give a brief background, because everybody must have like seen, heard a lot of things about this. I just want to give a context for that fight which happened on Monday. On Sunday we had a double header. So the first one was CSK versus Punjab Kings. CSK made 200 and Punjab Kings chased that total. The second match was MI versus RR. Rajasthan made 200 again and MI chased 200 again. So this was just double header on Sunday, which was absolutely like magical stuff. Monday comes and we have LSG versus RCB. 128, 127 was made, and that match got all the headlines for this entire week. I think till now we are hearing those headlines. So that just talks. I mean, cricket sells, but I think controversies sell more. So just going, we briefly discuss the incident before we go into the analysis. So uh, a bit. I mean, I don't know who to support here because it's very difficult to know what exactly happened. Too many versions, too many theories about the fight that happened. But there was nothing about cricket in that. I think Lucknow shot themselves in the foot, and nobody discussed that. They should have just won that match with 127 to chase, just take singles, but they kept hitting out for some weird reason, and that completely got missed in the entire incident that happened afterwards. So I think I'll give the first word to you. I think the background is what happened with LSG versus RCB in Bangalore, right? Gambhir doing something. That was the starting point.
Right. Actually, if you go to the origins of this entire story, it's
Oh,
that
20.
2013 game, right, between KKR
Uh,
and RCB, where Kohli had got dismissed, and then Gambhir gave him an angry send off, and then Kohli retorted back to him, right? And it's so weird, right? Two players who played for Delhi together, who played for India together, both World Cup winning players, right?
and that World
Uh,
Cup partnership, which is not talked about that often, but very critical in that final.
Right, right. Because you remember Sehwag and Sachin had got out early, and it
Uh,
was this partnership that had stabilized. And the other endearing incident that had happened way back was, you remember Gambhir and Kohli had scored hundreds against Sri Lanka, and Gambhir had handed over the man of the match over to Kohli, who was a
oh
youngster
yes,
then,
Kohli
right?
was young. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it started off on a great note. That 2013 incident took it to a whole new level, right? And yeah, the incident you mentioned at the Chinnaswamy. Now, I know the Chinnaswamy crowd well, right? Because I've heard a lot of stories being a Bangalore boy, and I recently went to the match against MI also. One thing you can guarantee is the Chinnaswamy crowd is never hostile. They are never hostile.
Hmm.
They're very passionate about RCB, but they will never deride the other team, right? So that was very strange that Gambhir showed them that keep
Finger,
silent sort of,
keep quiet.
gesture. Even Jay Dahiya was animated for some strange reason. And obviously Kohli, being the passionate and fierce personality that is, he had it in his mind. And even if you see the RCB post-match videos which RCB
mm,
releases, the entire team was animated. They said that they really wanted to win this match, this return match, right?
mm.
The revenge match, as you said. So see, from an RCB point of view, or even as an objective, watcher of the game, I felt that since it was instigated by LSG, I don't mind RCB giving it back to them. Right now, if
Correct.
abuses have happened, that is something we don't approve of, because there's a certain line
Mm.
that you can't cross in cricket. But the return of the feistiness and all those gestures, that I think I'm fine with. Your take on that?
It provides an edge to the sport. I mean, and that match needed an edge because it was a very boring match otherwise with the small total and everything. So it's I think Naveen was abused when he was batting because he did hit a few boundaries and was giving a chance there to LHG to chase, but wasn't possible. And then I think the one main thing is during the match a lot of things happen, but what I've noticed is at the end you all shake hands and let it be. So whatever is done in the game is done in the game. Post game you all just become friends. So that's I think the trigger where Naveen and Kohli shook hands and Naveen just let it go and he's like very angry. And Kohli being Kohli is not going to take it lightly, right? And then Gambhir, and I think there's a snippet of Kyle Mayers talking to Kohli, and I don't think that was
Yeah.
a fight. They were just
Yeah,
discussing
I think
something.
Myers was politely asking him as to what the issue was, or
Yeah, or probably taking batting tips. You don't know that, right?
yeah.
So, so Gambhir takes him away like some elder of a family. कि नहीं तुझसे बात नहीं करेगा. ये अच्छा आदमी नहीं है. And then Gambhir himself starts driving, down the track. And the funny part is, I think which not many people have discussed is KL Rahul. Okay, now this guy he got injured. I feel bad for him. He couldn't bat, so he can't walk. Also, now normally when people they have any injury, they can't run, so they uh, just walk down the pitch when the ball goes too long and long off. I thought he'll do that. Anyways, he was
Hmm.
coming at 11 for some reason. I thought he could have just opened and tried to hit 3, 4 balls out of the park in the power play. But okay, he was in really bad state. It was a hip flexus injury
Yeah.
apparently. But now I'm hearing it's a thigh surgery. So God knows what happened here. I mean, which body part is injured, but he could not walk. And
Hmm.
okay, so he was just coming there to save the net, and it is what I hear. That Mr. will try to hit something. He just stay at one end and maybe they can reduce the margin of defeat. Fair enough. Strategy wise is good. Now when the fight is happening, this guy's walking and stopping Gambhir ki, mat jao types, and he's walking here and there. And I'm like, he could have walked on the pitch and taken that single in the last over because he had Harshal Patel and he could have tried to hit him for three sixes. I think that's what was needed to win. So very strange how this guy forgot his injury when the fight was happening. He was trying to stop people. Then Kohli Gambhir start fighting and Kohli is trying to gesture please calm down types and
Hmm.
Gambhir is shouting at him. So it was entertaining, but one thing I truly believe is that coaches should not get involved like this. I mean, football managers on the touchline also do all this antics and everything, but after the match, they are also friendly. Mostly. I mean, there are some bad matches and people do get upset, but Gambhir doesn't look like. Firstly, he's a mentor. I think there's a misconception he's a coach. I think Andy Flower is a coach of this team. People don't remember or see him ever, and Gio also doesn't show him. It's always on Gambhir in the dugout.
Right.
So he wears his kit. It's like he's playing for LSG in his own head, and he's then fighting like a player. So I think he needs to. He has that I don't know attachment issues. He's not able to let go as a player. I guess he still thinks he's a player, and he'll fight like a player. He's a mentor. He's a representative for LSG,
Yeah.
and he's not setting a good example for the kids. I think that's the major
True.
part here. If they see their
True.
coach fighting like a gunda, it's not going to help. Naveen Ulhaq was triggered like that. I'm sure Naveen Ulhaq won't have the audacity to challenge a Kohli unless somebody is backing him, right? So at the
Yeah.
end, yeah,
And
the
Naveen Ulak also has had a history of scuffles. He's,
correct.
had an incident with Shahid Afridi in the past as well, where I think Shahid Afridi was trying to make him understand something and he turned away. So, and he didn't even respect KL Rahul in this instance, right? There was an instance you remember near the boundary line where KL Rahul and Virat Kohli were talking, and KL Rahul tried to play peacemaker and bring this guy over.
Yes,
He just
yes.
refused. He just refused and left. So, that's there.
क्या केएल राहुल का टाइम भी खराब चला है. I think कोई भी नहीं सुन रहा उसका. So, in a way, this injury might be a blessing in disguise. He needs to some time out from everybody, and maybe he
Yeah.
comes back
Yeah.
stronger. We hope that. So yeah, to summarize it, yeah, end में I think the biggest loser was Delhi, क्योंकि दोनों बंदे दिल्ली के निकले, फिर दिल्ली का नाम और खराब हो गया. So I think that is one loss also against the city where I live. So hopefully no more such issues. But now everybody is just like hoping to God that we get another match of LHG and RCB. Definitely they are not coming in first two, so it's going to be an eliminator, which will be even more edgy. So part of me wants that, because that's going to be very ugly and that's going to be like a shootout, right? The
Yeah.
decider. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
will be
fingers crossed.
fascinating. A quick update where I've heard, and I don't know, it's still rumors. I think BCCI is planning to have a meeting between these guys, and most likely Ravi Shastri could play
Uh,
intermediary. So, because BCCI feels that, their image and IPL's image might has got slightly eroded by this incident. So, there is
mm,
talk that, somebody could play peacemaker, most likely Ravi Shastri. That's what we're hearing. So,
we know what he'll bring with him. Yeah. It won't be a formal meeting for sure. So let's hope.
yeah.
I think there's a photo also going where these guys are like, standing in a photo and smiling. I don't know if that's an earlier
Could
season's
be an
photo. But
earlier photo. Could be an earlier
maybe.
photo. Yeah.
Chalo.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can discuss now the cricket part of it. And RCB is where they were before, and the same issues persist. Three people are playing, and rest of the batters are saying, "Let okay, let the elders play. We'll learn this season and do our internships in RCB." So that's what's happening. So yeah, Sujay, you see anything? What can improve for them from the middle order perspective?
One addition possibly Sumit is Kedar Jadhav, right? Now,
Oh
Kedar
God.
Jadhav has, come in as a replacement, but don't forget
Uh,
he's 38. So, and Kedar Jadhav has traditionally had a, history of injuries and stuff. So, but fingers crossed for him. He's a quality player whenever he's played. I think he's played 75 odd ODIs for India.
yeah, yeah, very
So, he's
good
a
average.
quality player. Yeah. And he's done decently in Ranji also. In 2022, I think he had an average of
Came
50
back.
plus. So at least for RCB, I hope he does well because that middle order is really struggling right now. RCB banked on three youngsters: Lomror, Suyesh
Prabhu
Prabhudesai,
Desai,
Anuj Rawat. At least Lomror is doing something. The other two
something.
are just not firing, right?
Going for
And
the
the biggest one, as we still continue to reiterate, Patidar, right? Because nobody thought he'll miss out. He would have filled that hole. And Karthik is just gone off the
just
boil,
one.
right? So
Yeah,
that middle order is struggling. Faf, Virat, and Maxi are looking great, but can they continue that momentum? Needs to be seen. And Siraj is again on fire, right?
breathing fire. Yeah, yeah,
Hazelwood did very well in the comeback game, so hoping that he continues the momentum. I feel Karan Sharma should continue playing. There's enough
definitely.
quality in him, and we have seen Piyush Chawla, Amit Mishra do well. So I really want to see Karan Sharma continuing. And then either one of whoever Herschel or Vaishak
Arsenal,
play,
Vaishak.
that person will have to step on the plate. So there are still a lot of improvement areas, but the good thing is this team has won three out of their last four games. So the momentum is with
Okay,
RCB. Today they are playing, DC in the evening. So hopefully, if they win that, also it will be four out of five. So fingers crossed. 5 games to go. The momentum is with RCB, but they really need to nail down those improvement areas.
fair enough. I mean, DC has been in a weird form, so they beat Gujarat Titans. So yeah, RCB being RCB, they lose to Punjab also. So maybe DC is another one. But the bowling, so they have three very good bowlers with Siraj, Hazelwood, and Hasaranga. Three very good bowlers. That other fourth bowler is very important because fifth bowlers normally is like a jugaad, right? You get Shabaz in, you get Lomror in, you do all this stuff. But Harshal is struggling. He's not the same Purple Patel, and Vaishak has been decent from what I've seen. So maybe gets an extended run. Karan Sharma, I think, really should be playing because the pitches are slowing down. It's that part of the IPL. And he is not going to get 4 overs 50, 4 overs 30, 35. I think that's par for any
Yeah.
RCB bowler nowadays. So hopefully, your estimate, I mean, top 4 chances for RCB? 10 and 9
Uh,
for them
I
right
am
now.
optimistic. I am
Hmm.
optimistic, because there's so much quality with Faf, Maxwell,
Virat.
Kohli, Siraj, right? These four are your hukum ke ikke, as you say, right, in Hindi.
Mm.
So I still feel there's a lot of quality. I'm optimistic. Obviously, they won't end up in the top two, I feel, at this point, but third or fourth spot for that eliminator,
Uh,
I think RCB has a good chance. Yeah.
yeah, I'll also give them 50-50 on that because it's too much dependency. And I think with slower pitchers and Virat's weakness against spin in a way, because I think every team is going to start with spinners now against these two because they found that formula. So if that works, I don't see them going through. But yeah, if these three can win you 2 out of 4 or 3 out of how many are remaining? There are actually 5 games for RCB,
Five,
right? So
five.
three out
Yeah.
of five, s- quite possible, which gives you to the magic 16 number. So still good. They should win against Delhi. That's very important because that might just
Yeah,
upset everything.
because
Very
if they lose
critical.
against Delhi, then they have to win three in the next four, and there are teams like MI, GT,
Uh,
some really strong teams coming up still. So that will be something to watch out for. They lost two games against KKR. I mean, KKR is struggling to win against all, but they won both games against RCB. So that was a strange one. Yeah,
Spinners, right? Again, they have like three
yeah,
spinners bowling in that Paul Adams guy. So
yeah.
he got to those everybody, Faf and Virat. So yeah, coming to the next team, LSG. Now just from RCB, let's discuss the other one. And they, I think, are going to have a major fallout from this match in terms of the fair play points. I mean, the fair play award is going to go. Apparently, they were number one before this incident, so now
Is
they are
it?
not going to
Oh,
go. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's what the commentators were also joking about that it's gone, and the one trophy they might have won. And KL Rahul is gone now. That's a boon or a bane. Time shall tell. Uh, quite, I am just happy. I'll be very honest. From India's perspective, also, he's
Hmm.
not in the WTC final because there were a
Hmm.
lot of talks. He might have been played at six as a keeper, which would have been a mistake as per me. You need a specialist keeper for test matches. You cannot do jugaad there. Not like he's batting so well that you play him as a batter and okay, he'll make that extra runs for some drop catches. But that also is ironed out. He's not playing in WTC final. So he gets some time away from the game, away from the media and speculation. Hopefully, he gets the rest, the mental and physical rest, comes back stronger and maybe a better batsman for the World Cup. So it's okay for me, and I think LSG, anyways, after this incident, are going to have many more issues because they're going to get a lot of hooting all over. They took panga
Hmm.
against Virat of all people, so they're going to get. I don't know how Naveen is going to react. Also, every ground is going to go after him going forward. So that's the major update for them. I think the foreigners have played well. Stoinis Pooran have majorly done the damage for them on good batting pitches. The problem is their home pitch is so bad that the best batters are not doing anything. So they need to work that out. And the captain they have selected.
No,
That's the
no,
funny
after
one.
Rahul. No, I
Yeah,
don't know. Who is it?
it's Krunal Pandya. So they thought छोटा
Oh,
भाई अच्छा कर रहा है, बड़ा भाई भी same करेगा. But the problem
okay.
with the bada bhai is bada bhai promotes himself to number three. He thinks he's a batsman, but
Uh-huh.
he's like a finisher. He was always a finisher, and sometimes he used to float up the order. Here, I think when he's captain, I'm interested to see how this team works. I don't think it's going to work out now for them with Krunal as captain. He's going to promote himself at three, and that Ayush
Correct.
Baruni kid is really talented. I think he's one bright spot, and you just keep pushing him, even if the LSG don't qualify this season, it's okay. But they have found a very gem of a new, kid, Indian
Hmm.
batter to be more important.
Correct,
So,
correct.
so
He's shown
that
that
is a problem.
quality. Yeah.
So areas of improvement. There's so many actually. Do you think Quinton de Kock now needs to come in?
Definitely, definitely, because you are seeing now the batting is struggling, right? The bowling
Hmm.
is still doing well. I think they need to unleash Myers and Decock up front, right?
Yeah,
And then keep Stoinis and Pooran. And I don't know now, they've suddenly gone away from Wood, right? Wood was the
exactly.
shining light in the first few games.
Agreed.
He's gone
Uh,
now. Naveen Ulak is not such an extraordinary bowler that you keep him in the team and he'll do something. I would still feel they can maybe take a punt on Avish. I know Avish has been really expensive
mm,
this season, but maybe bring him back, take out Naveen, and play Decock Myers, Puran Stoinis. That will be one hell of a batting unit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the problem for them is the Indian talent not working. Right, Huda is out of
Batters.
form. Krunal is not doing well with the bat.
Hmm.
Only Badoni, as you said, is firing.
Batting well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
bowling also. Yeah, now good thing is Mohsin is back, right? So
He didn't get a
hopefully,
game, sadly, with the
yeah,
CSK wash out, but yeah, he's back. So hopefully
yeah.
he's even 80% of what he was last season. Very good bowler to have.
Correct, correct. And then there were some befuddling situations like Amit Mishra didn't play the last game, right, against CSK. So I don't know, he was doing so well, they dropped him. So the thinking is a
Etc.
bit muddled. There is still quality. I mean, LSG is a quality team. Even in our preview videos, we identified them as a very good contender for the playoffs. Just that they've lost their way somewhere, and maybe that loss and that the attention with the fight and all that was something that they didn't need actually. So I don't know, they'll have to do a lot of things now to get back on track.
Yeah, I think they dropped the chances of top four. It'll be a miracle
Yeah,
for me if they come back.
yeah,
And the
it's
funny part
difficult
was
now. It's
Amit
difficult.
Mishra batted, I think, 30 odd balls in the RCB match, okay? And this guy is
Hmm.
playing as an impact player. So the joke was इसने बैटिंग नहीं उठाया वो नेट्स में इतने टाइम से because ये ball करता है फील्ड करता है and he's batted 30 odd balls for 20 runs I think. So
Yeah,
poor guy was
19,
looking so
19.
out of
Yeah.
19.
Mm,
So he was like
mm.
just so out of place. So yeah, he was trying his he played a battle in the last over. That was pretty cool to watch Amit Mishra do all this. So it'll be tough. I think top for you top four chances likely
No,
or
I
no.
mean the way things have panned out in the last few
Hmm.
games. I mean Lucknow. I don't know. Lucknow has sort of demoralized them. I think the ground. I
Listen.
mean, I
Oh
mean
yeah.
they failed to win an easy game against GT. 30 runs needed, 9 wickets in hand. They lost from there. RCB's game was in the bag. They lost from there. CSK's game had rain not intervened, they would have
They would
probably
have lost the
lost
game.
that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the way things are looking, I don't think they'll make it. But if they make it, kudos to them. Yeah,
So say they are 11 and 10, and that 1 point from CSK has actually helped them. Might just be the difference between that 14, 15, 16, right?
correct.
So let's see. The next one we can go to is another team on a losing streak, Rajasthan Royals. So one of the few predictions we had made, and we had heard things that we were being a bit biased, but we said if Butler plays, they're going to be in very good spot, and Butler has not played, but they have discovered a new superstar who's Yashasvi Jaiswal. So that innings against Mumbai Indians was one of the best innings I've seen, and the next best score was 18 or 20, I believe, in that game or extras even. So it was one of the most spellbinding innings, and 124 of 62 balls against MI and taking them
Quality.
200
Yeah,
plus. Now he's in the race for orange cap, so that says about consistency as well. So
yeah.
one bright shining spark in that top
Mm,
four. But the problem is, I said top four, so there's
mm.
Butler who didn't really do that consistent job that he's used to. Samson again is back to that inconsistent thing, and again this guy should have read the room as they say because the number four slot was open now
Is
for the
open,
World Cup,
still open for India.
still
Yeah,
open, and this was the year he could have really hammered the door down. Was the poor guy? There's some bias against him. I'll be very honest. I mean, he doesn't get the same number of chances, so he needs to do that extra hard work, right? That like office में भी कुछ employees होते हैं उनको ज़्यादा hard work करना पड़ता है promotion के लिए compared to others. He's that employee, so he needs to. He should have taken his chance. He's just doing that inconsistent thing. Very beautiful 20s, and the way he's striking it even yesterday against GT,
okay.
brilliant strikes there were for
He
sixes and
still
everything.
looks a
But
million bucks, $1 million, right?
as
While
always,
batting. Yeah, yeah.
so and then DDP we discussed not playing in his position is really hampering him. Ryan Parag came as impact player yesterday, and then he went in 5 balls. Hedma is struggling suddenly, so a lot of question marks all of a sudden. And we had also discussed the death bowling, right? Wherein
Right.
they didn't have a death bowler, so Bolt is brilliant with the new ball and maybe gives you a good 1 over, but not a bankable 2 overs last. Uh, 5 overs, 2 overs he can put. Holder showed that against MI against Tim David, like 3 sixes, 3 balls, finished the match. So he's out now of favor. They're getting Zampa. So they have a spin trio, which is one of the, I think, strengths they have. Because Ashwin is bowling very well. Very surprisingly, Ashwin is very potent and not giving runs, taking wickets. Chair is doing his normal. So the good parts are like Jaiswal, the spin trio, and Dhruv Jurel, I think, one
Yeah,
person who's
Jurel is
stuck
still
out.
very
A
impressive, right?
new
Yeah.
finisher they have got. So some good parts, but the top four out of which only one batter is constantly giving you those starts is what's hampering them. Any other thing you can see in terms of the
No,
issues?
that's what. Even if this team has to make it to the playoffs, the bowling has to carry them, right? The three
Yeah, yeah.
spinners, and Bolt probably they have to really carry this team because the batting, I don't know, that to Hetmeyer, right? I mean, started the tournament on such a bright note. Last 5 matches, 5 single-digit scores.
Oh god,
So I mean, you need to let that sink
ties
in.
up
Yeah,
with the losing streak. Yeah,
yeah, and yeah, they've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, so clearly the momentum has got sucked out. They need to start winning again and winning soon, because things are going downhill. Butler 90 runs in last 6 games at an average
hmm.
of 15, so
Oh boy,
they
yeah.
have the quality, but as we had pointed out earlier, also it's dependence on certain players. Let's say a Butler or a Hetmeyer, and if they don't come off, then there's no second line of defense. That's the problem.
The top four chances for me, I'll say no.
Shaky,
I'll actually put
shaky.
I'll put my neck on the line because we did say they won't do well if Butler doesn't play. I think we'll stick our neck on the line. Probably, let's see how it works out.
Yeah,
Last team we'll discuss is Delhi Capitals. So
right.
nothing much to play for. They have 6 points in 9 games, and like we discussed back in our preview, right? Keeping a foreign captain is always a double-edged sword. So for RCB, it worked out with Faf, but with Warner, suddenly you are in a situation where your captain is not performing. He is an opener, so your one slot is gone at a very important position. You don't have a keeper after Pant went. Unfortunately, they tried Abhishek Purel. They didn't trust him. I think he was decent for whatever little
Yeah,
he
he
could do at
wasn't
number
bad.
7,
Yeah,
8.
yeah,
So you dropped him, and they had to get in Phil Salt, who's a foreigner, and you have to play Nokia because he's bowling brilliantly. I mean, those death bowling Yorkers are something like ultimate beauty to watch in the 19th or 20th over when he bowls. So three slots are just gone like that. So now you're left with Marsh, Russo, and Rovman for that last slot. And they have this love for Marsh, right? It's Ponting and Warner. So he did well in one match, 4 wickets, 60 runs. They still lost that somehow. So the one positive for this team is return of Shant Sharma. I think that match against GT, where he
yeah,
saved their ass last moment, was immense. I mean, 12 runs, Pandya, Tewatia hitting 3 sixes to Nokia previous over, 3 balls. I didn't think they were winning that match, but that guy bowled. I think he Delhi won by 5 or 6 runs, so he just
yeah,
gave 7.
yeah.
So welcome addition, Ishant Sharma, out of the blue. Never thought as a white ball bowler, but they discovered him from the storage, and he's doing it. And Akshar, as usual, he's still doing his bit. He got a promotion. He batted at 6 last match instead of 7, so one spot earlier. So I just see two bright sparks. Do you see anything else in this team?
Hmm. The thing is, again, the squad itself is pretty, I mean, very
Thin.
imbalanced and weak, right?
Uh,
It's not awe-inspiring. One is obviously they got hampered by Rishabh Pant's accident, unfortunately. But then that's what, even, I mean, Ripple Patel and all these other guys also have not been able to do much. David Warner, even at the start, he was like making runs at 100 strike rate,
Very bad
110
strike
strike
rate.
rate.
Mm,
Even he's gone, down the ladder now. He's also not scoring runs. And this, Phil Salt has been brought in. Even he's getting single digits. So it's just not helping. Lot of chopping and changing. And,
that's what.
again, they've got some momentum. Last 4 games, they've won three. But they need to win 5 out of 5 now. Looks very
I don't
unlikely.
know.
They don't have that depth, right? Like, there have been instances in the past where I think MI in one of the seasons won 6 out of 6 to make it, right?
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. Last
this
two.
squad doesn't have it in them to inspire confidence.
So they'll just play spoilers, I think, for people who want to qualify. They'll be the only good thing is they haven't fallen off the cliff completely. Like some teams, just win like 2, 3 games in the entire season.
Yeah,
They've won three already.
yeah.
I'm
Credit to
expecting
them.
them to
At
win.
least they've made a comeback. Yeah,
So they might get two more and make things interesting in the competition. I think that's all I can see. And probably now push Akshar up. Maybe try Yash Dhul, groom him for
mm,
next season because I've heard good things about him. He didn't look so good for whatever he batted, but again, people need that time, right? So let's hope they can groom it and
yeah,
let when they give up on the tournament and then they can start playing these
yeah.
youngsters and see how they are for next season.
One
So yeah,
last point,
that's
probably the bowling is still respectable, right? Norkia, Kuldeep,
Kuldeep.
Ishant, Khalil is again in some sort of
Bang.
decent form. So the bowling is holding its own. The batting is really struggling, really
Very
struggling.
certainly. And the problem is when you don't find your best 11, that's what happens. You're constantly thinking, yeah, okay, I can play this guy, I can play that guy. The security issues start then, right? Nobody knows
Yeah,
if they're playing the next game. So that is a great sign. When it's like Punjab, right? When you do too much chopping and changing, you know you're in trouble at this
yeah,
stage of the season. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's wrap up for this part
yeah.
one, wherein we've discussed, and we can cover the rest of the teams in part two.
Yes, folks. So, hope you enjoyed this part one video. We have six more teams to cover in part two, and we'll be doing that shortly. Do let us know your thoughts for this part one video. Hope you enjoyed it, and please do let us know your thoughts. Let us know your perspective on the Kohli
The
versus
fight.
Gambhir battle as
Yeah.
well. We want
And
to
what
see where
was
you stand, so that will be interesting.
and
Till
if you
then,
know
take
what was
care,
said
folks.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
last
yeah.
one.
If you have more insights,
2 minutes.
flavors on that, we would love to hear that also. Sorry, Sumit.
And the
You wanted
I was
to?
just confirming on the juta thing, right? So Kohli showed his shoe. So there are two theories to that. One, he was telling Naveen, "Mere, jute bhe tu." That's part one. Second is apparently he was accused of running on the pitch and ruining the pitch. So he was showing his shoe, saying, "इसमें sand नहीं है, सिर्फ घास है." So you can't blame me for tampering with the pitch. So there are two theories to that. If anybody's heard anything else, please let us know. And which is the
Yeah.
correct one? I'm not sure which one. Both are very likely with Kohli. So yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
if
that's
you
it.
have any
And
sources who can dwell more information, please do let us know. Okay, folks, take care.
okay,
See you for the second video. Bye bye.
thank you. Bye bye.